I hope you're all doing well. I'm here with you today to talk about grading a space like this one. Keep in mind that spaces with this kind of shape, like the one here, don't have any directional light, so in the midtones they tend to fall into shadow. There are 512 and 126 tiles here. To start, I press Alt plus S, then Alt plus P, Alt plus P, Alt plus P to create the contrast. I begin by opening the layers, selecting the gill, and extending it to 896. I also drag the rift to 128, then move on to the next layer. In the curve section, I pull the shadow down, increase the highlights a bit, and open up the layers a little more. Next, we move on to the HDR layer. I drag the light road up to 1023, and on the other side, I bring the shadow close to 0. Keep in mind that if the contrast is set properly, most of the colors will return correctly, which really helps us when it comes to color touching and color grading. I move on to the next layer, and in the primary section I set both the light beads and shadow back to 128. This creates a white haze over the shadows and the entire image. I do the same with the highlights, setting them back as well. I adjust the ratio, move on to the next layer, and stabilize the shadow with the contrast I have set. We adjust the ratio for this purpose for the final result. We reopen the work on the railing. Here you see where I'm going. Okay, up to this point we're moving on to coloring. Alright, as you can see, the work has a warm yellowish tint in the first layer, and then in the next I add a bit of blue to the work. It's possible that this yellowish tone might not look good, but with the red and yellow that's already on the work, it will be balanced. In other words, the combination of these colors should help everything feel harmonious. In the next layer, I'll see what the work needs and decide. Maybe I'll increase this yellowish tone. Be precise here. This part of your skin tone has shifted toward yellow. I'll bring it back a bit toward the skin tone level so that the work feels right. We can also use a bit of the work's age here, considering how the passage of time can affect the colors. If I add too much, I'll reduce the saturation a bit, making the color less intense. Then I'll move on to the next layer. In this part, I'll still try to add a bit of greenish blue to the work, since we don't have that greenish blue feel yet, and adding it can help balance the overall composition. If I increase that color, I'll adjust its saturation a bit. In this part, I still need to check your skin tone, and I need to check the yellow areas as well. I keep fine-tuning the skin tones. Thank you. Let's not overdo the saturation. Now I'll move on to the next layer and go into the effects. In this part, the first thing I do is place the skin tone adjustment in the correct layers, and in the test, I apply the effects to see the results. I'm currently working carefully on Eunice's face, making sure to get every detail right. I'll leave it as is. In this part, the focus is on all the faces, and the entire camera movement is centered on the face. In the next step, we carefully apply the beauty effect so that all the details on the face are thoroughly corrected, and it gives a more pleasant and visually appealing look. In this section, we can carefully adjust the skin tone just a little bit, especially if there are any noticeable gaps here, and we can easily make some minor corrections here. I press Alt plus P and go to the Effects panel and remove the lighting effects. From this section, I select yellow. I remove this part. Next, I also remove the operation and diffusion. Next, we need to adjust its intensity and brightness accordingly. we see that we can apply different effects and adjustments to these various sections, or whichever ones are needed. I apply various effects or rotation to the object, and if I make some additional adjustments here as well, I can further control their function and behavior. For example, we can change the steps involved in the process, make some necessary corrections, tweak their scale a bit more precisely, and control the hand from this section right here. For the specific color we want to achieve, I make adjustments from this section, ensuring the hue and saturation are just right. I also go back to the blue fields a bit, review the previous settings, and edit the work here to refine the outcome, and I fine-tune the intensities to get the exact effect I am looking for. Each of these steps allows for more precise control and customization, ensuring the final result matches our vision as closely as possible. I go into the last layer, where I carefully select the effect fields and also the Shambler effect. In this section, I apply a subtle whisper effect, press 3 different buttons and add it to the card. Then I raise its value in this part. After that, I move on to the next layer. And in this part, I carefully adjust the shadow and the contrast upward just a bit, making sure not to overdo it. In the next layer, which is the last layer of coloring, we move in. Here we can finally do the file archiving of our work. I come to this section. And in the last layer, we use this look. In this adjustment, I start balancing. Now, what color do I want? From here, I check my work together with Ayat feed to make sure there are no issues. We check it. Keep in mind that whatever color you want, you can add it in the last layer, adjust your thoughts, and make any changes you want to your work. Thank you for being with me in this session tonight. I hope you have a great day. Thank you.